Hi, this is Rahim Zulfikar Ali from Excel Basement, and today in this video we will learn about the Power Query techniques, which is related to the appending of the data when we have same table names on a different sheet in the different workbook, when we have the same table names in a different workbook, and when we have different names of the tables as well as different name of the sheets, and how to make sure that the appending of the data has been done correctly. So in a traditional way, we need to have the VBA macros or complex formulas to execute these kinds of tasks, but today in this video we will learn the power of the Power Query, that how we can append the data in different scenarios. So let's get started. For appending the data through the Power Query, you need to go to Data tab, and here click on Get Data, then from File and from Folder click on From Folder, and then you need to define the path of that folder from where you just fetch all the workbooks data to append. So I have just defined the path, and here it's the Power Query created the metadata of all the workbooks which are presented in that folder, and I have 4 workbooks in that folder which are known as from the month names Jan, Feb, March and April. So now what we need to do is we need to append all these workbooks data into one. So we will go to Combine and Load option, which is available here. You can see on the screen, right? So Combine and Load, click on Combine and Load, and now this Power Query evaluating all those workbooks, and now you can see that it gives you one window which shows the option of first file here. On this drop down menu, when you click on that, you will get all those names of the workbooks which are presented in your folder. And now here in this option, the meaning of this option is that which file you want to make a base, and then all the files will follow this specific file pattern to combine the data. So if you go with the first file, when you are sure that all these files have common names of the columns and no additional or undifferent matching of the columns are presented in the column, so you can go with the first file. Otherwise you can have this specific file which is a kind of a different, and you just make this file as a base point or a benchmark to follow to get the data from the other workbooks based on the January file. Okay, so we will select the Jan here. You can select anyone if you know that all the columns are same in the format. Remember that Power Query is case sensitive. The titles in all the workbooks, the heading in all the workbooks must contain the spelling name proper, same spelling and with the proper case. For example, if you have written all in capitals, should be remain capital everywhere, and case sensitive should be followed. So we have in the first scenario we have all the table names are same in different workbooks. The table names are same, and the table name is data in all the workbooks, you can see here. And when you click OK, so it will and now you got all the data in your spreadsheet. So all the steps on the back end has been run by the Power Query, right? Whatever the steps were. So if your workbook updates, for example the workbook of February get updates and get additional rows, you just need to go to Data tab and click on Refresh button. So it will fetch the data from that file or workbook. For example, let me just show you. For example, when I open the February workbook and I add one more entry to it, let's say I'm just copying and pasting one more entry with a big amount, 9 million approximately. So when I just save this file, close it, and here now what we need to do is just click on refresh. When you refresh, additional row has been added automatically without applying all those steps again. So this is how your data append when the scenario number 1 is when your all different workbooks have same table name. Okay, so this was case 1. Case 2, let's come to the case 2. Now the next case is that when all the sheet names are same but the table names are different. All the sheet names within the workbook are the same. So how we can do that? Go to data tab, get data from file, from folder, define the path. I have just copied the path from here, from my notepad file. Press OK, and now it also gives me the information that you have these 4 workbooks in your folder. Click on combine and load. So in this case we have all the sheet names are same but the table names are different. So click on data, and it will follow the pattern for all the 4 files or more than 4 files if you have. Click OK. Now it will fetch the data from all those 4 workbooks. Sheet names are different this time. Sheet names are same this time. Sheet names are same this time, and now you can see that the data from east.xlsx, north, then south, and then west has been combined, appended successfully, and on the right side you can see that 400 rows are loaded from each of the workbooks. So this is how we can combine the data. Now the third and the last case is, and it's a bit tricky but it easy, not much difficult, when you have all the sheet names are different and all the table names are also different. Sheet names are different, table names are different. So what we can do to append the data, to combine the data? So go to data tab, click on get data from file, from folder, and define the path wherever all those workbooks are located. Click OK, and now you will not click on combine and load because you need to make some necessary changes to get the data from all those 4 different worksheets and table names. So you will click on transform data. It will move you towards the Power Query window editor, and from here we will need to have some changes and create one more custom column to get the data. So we need just 2 columns here from this metadata, which is called the content and the name. The rest columns need to be removed. So we will select the content column and the name column, right click on it and click on remove other columns. So all other columns have been removed. Now we will add one custom column which will fetch the data from all those four workbooks. Click on custom column and give it a name first, for example database or XYZ, whatever you want to give. Then all the M language codes are case sensitive, so I am writing one code here, equals to excel.workbook bracket open. All the data is available in the content. We will double click on the content and bracket close, press OK. So it shows us the table. That table is presented in all 4 workbooks, and now here you can see that on the right side of this database column you will see an icon which is showing you 2 arrows, left side or right side. This means we can further extract fields within this column, and this shows the name, data, item, kind and hidden. To understand this window, let's understand this window. That first you have these 2 options, expand and aggregate. Aggregate means if we want these columns calculation, so we will click on aggregate and it will gives the calculation either in sum or a count. So we don't want calculation of these columns. We will click on expand and we need to fetch the data from these columns. Plus we will not check mark on the option which is called use original column name as prefix, because it will repeat this database column name with all these fields in the other columns. So uncheck this column and press OK. Now we know that in all the 4 workbooks we have the table. We need to fetch the data from the table. We click on table, and again on the data column we got the icon which is called the expand. Further we have to expand these columns. So we have store ID Q1, Q3, Q2, Q3 and Q4 in all the sheets. Again we will go with the expand option, and now we get all the data from all those 4 workbooks. Unnecessary columns we need to remove. So if you find any unnecessary column, right click on it, click on remove, so that it will remove again. And now we will load this data. Click on home tab, close and load. And now again you can see on the right side that it's written 400 rows loaded. Each workbooks contain the 400 rows, and now all the data has been from the 4 workbooks fetched and appended successfully. So this is how, when you have different table names, different sheet names, you can just fetch the data from the Power Query without writing any VB or macro. And this is very easy, super fast, super cool. And try different scenarios if the columns are much more as compared to the different sheets, or sequences change, or you just change the title, might be you receive some errors. Go ahead and explore the Power Query in more detail. These were the simple cases which I showed you, but the 3 different scenarios when the sheet names are same, when the table names are same, and when sheet names and table names both are different, then how you can fetch the data and append the data in the Power Query. Thank you so much.